Simon, as you know, I'm a financial advisor anyway, in my own right, with my own company. But like most financial advisors out there, we get to choose who is going to be our financial advisor, because it's a bit like, that courtroom thing where, what do they say? You don't represent yourself in court because you're, what do they say? I can't remember. Can you remember?
You can't be objective, can you, if you're representing
No, it just
yourself?
doesn't make sense, does it? Oh, a fool represents himself, or something like that.
That's right.
And it's the same, have you ever been in those houses where the person who owns the house is a builder, and then you go in and there's always things that are left undone because they've tried to do it themselves, and then they get called away on different things. So I've always been a great believer that as a financial advisor, I should get my own financial advisor, so I chose you, which is good. So I think the thing that blew me away when I came to you was, most recently we talked about pensions and retirement, because I was in a position where that was my key priority as a business owner, and your process, your financial future. I think it's your financial future is what you call your process.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
I just feel as though I needed to know more about it, share it maybe with people that I work with, but also, as you know, I got a podcast, so I'll put it on there too. So, just in your own words, to tell me about how you created it. Where did it come from?
Well, I've been in giving financial advice for many years, over 38 years, and the old-fashioned way was normally looking at what somebody's got in a pension pot and saying, if it's 100, we'll double it to 200. But it was then pointed out to me several years ago by following some other advisors that it's not about the money. It should be about what the client wants to do with the money. So I've created this process called Your Financial Future, where I let somebody have the opportunity to see what their financial future would look like from now onwards until death. And we go through a process of working out what they want to achieve, when they want to achieve it, and describing to me what their retirement is going to look like. And different people will have different ideas on retirement. Some will be doing a phased retirement, some will stop on a particular day, never go back to work, and others find that they might have to go back to work because they can't afford to, or because they run out of money. So if I give people this opportunity now to look into their financial future, if they don't like what they see, hopefully we've got enough time in place to make some corrections and improve things. Or somebody might say they want to retire at 60, and actually it might not be possible at 60, but 63, 64 onwards, it could well be possible. And so I get quite a good reaction back from my clients when they see this opening up, and what they can do with their futures.
So one thing on there, you mentioned about phased retirement. Just in case anybody listening doesn't know what that means, what does that mean?
Well, phased retirement can be you carry on working 2 days a week or 3 days a week, and then the other 2 or 3 days a week you might be taking off. So you might be starting with long weekends and reducing the stress that you might be going through at that age. Or you might be testing the water to see what else you might want to do. So phased retirement sometimes means changing an occupation, working because they want to, not because they have to. And we can then subsidise the days that they're not working with an income from their pensions and their investments to give them the lifestyle that they deserve.
Yeah, so it's quite flexible in terms of...
Can be very flexible. Yeah, nothing we do is set in stone. So we like to chop and change and make it as flexible as possible, because life changes. You don't know what is going to happen in the next 10 years time, so we need to make amendments for that as and when we need to, the need arises. Yeah.
So your process works quite easily with curveballs that are thrown at you.
Yeah, we review it every year, make sure that we're still doing the on target for what we want to achieve. But if you take into account, we've gone through COVID for the last 18 months, that's made a big difference to some people where they've changed their plans totally, where people realise life is not a rehearsal, let's get on and enjoy ourselves while we can. So people have stopped work and then starting to draw down from their investments. Other people are thinking I should be putting more into my investments so I can use it to better advantage later on. So it's focused their mind quite a bit, and that my plan allows them to do that type of change.
Brilliant. So I know what I think about it, and I've already shared it with some of the people that I work with. They think it's absolutely amazing, and maybe you need to copyright it or something. I'm not quite sure. But what do your other clients think about it?
They do think it's really good. I've had some very good responses from fantastic, great, amazing. Why haven't I been shown this before? Yeah, they're all eager to have our annual reviews because they want to see how the plan's going and what changes they might need to make. And people are keener now to actually plan for the longest holiday of their life. So yes, it's been very good.
Yeah. And if you had to kind of describe your ideal client, what would that look like?
Well, typically, they're business owners. They might be company directors, partners, high-level managers, that type of thing. They are busy running their businesses, and their personal lives, their personal financial lives, get put on a back seat. And I've met people that spend longer choosing where they're going to go on holiday than they do on planning for their retirement. Which, when I point that out to them, the light bulb goes on and thinks, yeah, we need to do this. It's not tricky. It does involve a bit of thought process in the beginning, but I try and get people to expand on, I hate this phrase, but it's goals and objectives, and I think that's very American. But when you talk to people about goals, they don't necessarily know what a goal is, and it might switch them off a little bit. So we talk about what they want to achieve, and describe what their retirement looks like in their mind, and I get them to open up and dream big. Now, we're not saying that we can do the big dreams, but if we're aiming up high, we can get down to something that's still going to be very good if we can't hit the high levels. And with some clients in particular, I've shown them that they can actually dream bigger than they were dreaming big in the first place, which opens up a whole nother level of thought process for these people of what they can do and when they can do it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Mainly your kind of ideal client would be business owners, company directors, that type of person. But I think you've also dealt with other people as well, different jobs. I think
Yeah.
there was somebody that we talked about. It was a client that you saw. I think I saw her testimonial.
Rachel.
Rachel.
Yeah, Rachel.
Yeah. What did Rachel do?
Well, Rachel had been a teacher for many years in a local university, and then had decided to go self-employed. So you could say that she was a business owner, but she fits the format for lots of my clients. She was aware that she needed to provide for her retirement, and she was asking about pensions. So we had a conversation about pensions, and then we opened it up to the bigger conversation about what does she want her retirement to look like. Because Rachel was asking me, how much do I need to save in a pension? And we said, well, it's rewind. We need to look at how much you want to get out of your retirement. You could have £100,000, which would see you looking like a lord or a lady in South Africa, but £100,000 keeping you in Bristol or London isn't going to last very long. So we needed to map it out to something that meant something to Rachel. So we went through this process and worked out her retirement age, when she thought she had to retire, put in a plan in place, but we could actually show that she could retire, I think it was about 6 years earlier than she was hoping for, and still have the lifestyle that she was after.
Okay, sounds good. So I've seen the testimonial video. I think it would be good to share it with everybody else who's watching today. So here is Rachel's video.
When you first sought me out, what was the main issue that you wanted fulfilling?
Pension and some financial planning,
Okay.
going self-employed, and not knowing anything about this.
Yeah. And then when I've taken you through my sort of financial future meeting process, how did that sit with you? What did you think of that?
It was incredible. I had no idea I was going to get this kind of service. Seriously, I just had no idea you would be so thorough, that there would be so much information, that you would be able to plan this and kind of like look ahead to a year, 5 years, 10 years and so on. This isn't my world, and I had no idea that there'd be so much information. I thought it'd be like, yeah, just buy this one, you'll be fine kind of thing. And
Yeah.
I feel so supported, Simon. Seriously, I just feel like you've just completely taken me through this process. It's just been great.
Brilliant. That's great to hear. Thank you.